Shoes off. And so, oh my God, babe. Oh my God. I am not comfortable. Second of all, fuck, I'm sensitive as an old man.
Grumpy man.
Oh, damn, man. Bloody grumpy old man. And hold on a sec, guys. What's going on?
What's going on, little man? Old man?
Oh, babe, little man.
Little old man?
Oh, that's a little bit of a fucking rude thing to say.
Oh, don't worry. Let's not talk about rude.
And here we are, babe. We are back.
Yes.
Episode number 3.
Number 3, point 2.
3.2.
This is actually second time we're recording this episode because
We've had a bit of a malfunction in regards to the editing process, and I will take all of the blame. It was me. I deleted the audio, so here we are doing another take. So take 2.
well,
Action.
I'm glad that you took full responsibility of this big mix day. Anyway, so welcome to our podcast, episode number 3.
Number 3, 2 hearts, 1 home pod. Let's go. We're really excited for this, actually, because it's, I guess mistakes, editing mistakes. This whole process, if I'm to be honest with you, is such a good process for our relationship because, I think every relationship you've got to work through things, romance, intimacy, communication, all of that type of stuff. And working on a project together where you have different opinions, different priorities, and all of that type of thing is quite hard.
Yeah, 100%. And not just that, maybe sometimes you'll be in the mood to record right now and I won't be in the mood. So we need to come to an agreement of what works for the both of us.
What works, yeah. So I guess we need to create a bit more of a structure. But hey, listen, at the end of the day, we're fucking doing something. I'm proud of us.
Yeah, and don't forget we work full time.
Yeah, we work full time as well.
So
in pretty demanding jobs. So
100%.
Yeah, I think that we are fucking killing it.
Legends, I would say.
Legends. So
anyways, I want to say something. Welcome to our podcast where we discuss ADHD, the condition that makes procrastination an art form, and forgetfulness a superpower. What about
Ooh. Yeah, well, exactly. So let's just talk about the format. We've got mind mastery, lessons of the week.
Yeah.
Then we will be moving into thought-provoking talks, the main topic, and as Lady mentioned, it is around ADHD within the relationship, childhood, adulthood, work, so on and so forth. And then we'll move into dropping gems, is where we just give you a little fact, a product or whatever it may be.
Recommendations that would change your life.
Change your fucking life, man. Honestly, I've got one. It's changing my life. That's for damn sure. And then we would love to have a Q&A session. So we're going to call that Unfiltered Queries. And that will wrap us up. So
let's start this episode with our lesson of the week. So do you want to go first with your lesson of the week?
Mindset mastery. Yeah, I will. So mine is, I don't know if you guys are keeping up, and if you're not, fucking get kept up and go check out our other episodes. But I spoke about perspective in the first episode.
Yeah.
And how we perceive each other, how you perceive yourself, how people actually perceive you versus how you think that people are perceiving you.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty deep topic because I think that it is stopping a lot of people from doing a lot of things. It was stopping me from doing a lot of things. And so this week I'm going to talk about putting yourself out there. Put yourself out there. And the reason I want to talk about it is because thinking about the perception of how somebody's going to perceive you stops you from doing so much shit. I think that a lot of people, I don't know, maybe I'm living under a rock and it's just me that feels like that. But
no, I'm pretty sure it's not just you. It's maybe not a lot of people talk about it, because who wants to be like, oh yeah, I care about what people think. Oh,
yeah, true. Trying to hold that that persona up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, literally.
So I want to talk about putting yourself out there, because since we've dropped a couple of episodes now, we were very scared to do so. And it's something that we didn't even talk to each other about. It was just this embodied suffering that you're just holding yourself to.
Yeah.
And since we've put ourselves out there, I guarantee it, if you're holding yourself back from social media, or you want to be a dancer and you're meant to be a doctor or something like that, I don't know, whatever it is, if you're holding yourself back and you're scared to put yourself out there because of what you think, family, friends, whoever's going to think, I say go do it, because our feedback since putting ourselves out there, regardless of whether we're amazing or super professional or whatever the fuck it is, hey, listen, we're having a go, and the feedback has been very, very good and nice. Like, not what I mean is, it's not like, oh, you guys are amazing and shit. No, it's just that the people, it's way more positive than what I thought it would be.
Yeah, 100%, especially people that cares and then come to us and it's like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you, and it's amazing what you're doing, and it takes a lot of courage and bravery to actually put yourself out there. So as I say before, whatever you're going to do in life, do it for you and not for everyone else.
Yeah, because
that's the main thing.
Because then I think if you put yourself out there and it's for you and it's something that you want to do and you think that you're going to love it, or you love it, and you're just scared of putting yourself out there, when you do get that negative feedback, you can handle it, because you're like, well, fuck you, because this is something I want to do. Second of all, it's able to be sustained because you love it. And then I think, it's been really nice. Like,
you're just doing something for you. So that's the main thing. And then when you do something for you, you just put a lot of effort. And
you're normally going to be good at it.
Yeah. And regardless what was the outcome of whatever you decide to do, at least you know that you try. Mm-hmm. You work on it. If it worked, really good on you. If it didn't work, it was because it wasn't meant to be. And that's it. Move to the next thing. Yeah. That's it. That's life.
And so I had a friend say to me the other day, he's like, at least you're doing something. He goes, how does that feel to be actually doing it? Like, instead of just talking about something, you're actually just the action. You're doing it. How does that feel? And I was like, man, it feels fucking awesome, to be honest. Like, it's amazing. So I'd like to end this bit. I'll just keep it quick. I'd like to end this bit on thank you, everybody out there that has given us good feedback.
Yeah.
Like, really appreciate it. You don't know how much it means. It actually means a lot.
It means so much, especially, I mean, like with doing the podcast and put it us out there with social media, it gave me two big lessons. The first one is you don't know who is going to be so proud of you, and who's going, and also how you feel, and the satisfaction and making yourself feel like you're doing something for your life. Mm-hmm. And the second one is you're going to realize who is there for you and who is not for you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So,
and that's a good thing to know.
And that's a good thing, because you don't want people that doesn't support you or is happy because
you're just doing something.
Exactly, because you decide to follow a path. So, good lesson.
Yeah. So, moral of the story, if you've been holding back, who gives a fuck about anybody and what they think? Just go do it. Done.
Go for it.
Jump in the deep end. You figure it out.
Yeah.
Not that we've got to figure it out, because we don't.
Well, so I guess it's
over to you, my love.
My turn. So my lesson of the week is with something that happened to me. Always my lesson of the week is the things that happened to me. So probably a few weeks ago, you already know about this. You are aware. I did have a disagreement with my boss.
Yeah.
And after the disagreement, I sort of hold a resentment towards the person. Not that I was being mean, or not that I was, I don't know, trying to be in any negative way, but I wasn't as bubbly and as open and as friendly, just because I felt bad about after the disagreement. But then I just reflect on whatever happens, and I just decide that when you change that behavior that you have, and then regardless of what someone did to you, or regardless of how someone make you feel, and then you are kind to the person, they're gonna change. It's gonna be a difference.
I think if somebody's shit to you or mean to you, or your boss is mean to you all the time, and you take that on and don't stand up for yourself, and not all the time you're going to be able to stand up for yourself and it make a difference.
Yeah.
But you should have some core principles, and not being, that is, you're not allowed to treat me like shit.
Yeah.
But even if you have a confrontation with them, you sort it out, if you still have that resentment every single time they walk into the room,
they're gonna change your mood, and they're gonna make you feel bad, even if it's nothing happening at the moment. So you are only hurting yourself.
100%. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because once they walk in, they could be there for 10 minutes, and you're like, oh, fuck, they're here. And then they're not even in a bad mood, but you've just put yourself in a bad mood because they're there. They leave in 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden you're struggling all day.
Yeah.
Because you've just smashed your own energy. So don't take it on. And people normally, what were you saying the other day? If you're kind all the time to somebody,
regardless of their behavior, if you're kind, they're gonna realize that they are being the shitty person, and they're gonna change. Sooner or later, they will change.
Yeah, it might take some time. But
because they will realize that you are not reacting to what they're doing. And sometimes they want to win that way, making you react to
getting a reaction.
And if you don't reacting, they're going to stop.
Yeah, 100%.
So the lesson is be kind always, regardless with everyone around you, because you don't know what they're going through. Oh, also, it might be, you don't know if that person was mean to you that day because they were going through something.
They might have been stressed out of their mind trying to figure out how to do the job or whatever. And
exactly. So, it's not your job to try to fix them. It's only your job to try to be kind to them. Yeah,
and just not onboard that energy. Like, if you don't onboard that energy and you're just like, oh, well, whatever, then they'll reflect and be like, maybe I treated a lady bit bad and I won't do that again.
Yeah, exactly. And things change. For my experience, things change.
Oh yeah, it has changed.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's very positive, because hey, the worst thing in the world is to have a shitty boss. I had a shitty boss.
In the past.
Yeah. I just got a new boss today, actually. He seems really nice. But I had a shitty boss, and it's the fucking worst thing in the world. Just a narcissistic prick, and
it makes you not want to go work, and that's horrible, because you spend 8 to 10 hours a day,
5 days a week,
working with that person. It's like your entire life. So why would you feel shit about going to work?
Like, I don't understand bosses that do it, because it doesn't get the best performance out of somebody. It makes them anxious. It makes them nervous. It makes them make more mistakes. Like, just chill out and be kind. Yeah. So what the lesson? Be kind.
Be kind always.
Always. Yeah. Very good. I like that, baby.
Kindness.
Can you do that to me sometimes, please?
Don't worry. We know that the kindest person in this relationship is me.
Okay. So moving on. Big topic. ADHD. Just as an FYI, guys, if you got ADHD, be kind to yourself. If you've got a partner that's got ADHD and you don't have ADHD, be kind to them. And if you've got ADHD and your other partner does not have ADHD, be kind to them, communicate with them, and let them know some of your triggers and some things that you do because of your ADHD. If you've made it that far into the journey and figured out what they are, I think that it really, really helps within the relationship,
Yeah.
to be open about your triggers and all of that type of stuff, because it's just open communication. And when you're doing something, your partner knows where you're at.
Yeah, I think it's very important to tell your partner what are your toxic traits, let's say.
Yeah.
So they are aware that sometimes their behavior is not a reflection of you. It's just something that they can control.
Correct.
Or something that they struggle with. So I think it's very important to be open about it. It's nothing to be ashamed
No, not at all.
about.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, so
It's a fucking, it's a superpower.
Yeah, and that's why we are here to talk about ADHD and
Because we both have ADHD.
we both have ADHD, very different ADHD.
Very, very, very vastly different.
Yeah,
I'm hyperactive
I'm not.
and ladies not. Ladies like all internal.
Yeah, or in my head.
Yeah, fucking hell.
I can be sitting here acting cool when my head is like,
Yeah, it's
sack
crazy.
me.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're just going to touch a little bit on childhood, a little bit on adulthood. We got to keep it short, babe.
Yeah, no, the ADHD subject is a big topic.
Yeah, so
So this episode is gonna be a short version of what
Just
we
to-
think is ADHD. And just to clarify this, we are not experts in
Fuck no.
in ADHD. This is based on our experience,
Our opinion.
and yes, on things what we go through. So you might relate to things like that. You might not relate. And if you feel like you're struggling and you relate to a few things like that, just go search for help.
Yeah, 100%. So actually, definitely not professionals, like doctors
Not
or
at all.
psychiatrists or anything like that. So take this, it's not advice, it's not medical advice, it's just take it with a grain of salt. Hopefully you relate. If you do relate, please leave a comment. Let us know what you're thinking or what you're struggling with. Also, if you would like us to do a longer episode on the ins and outs of ADHD from our perspective, we would happily do that.
Yeah.
So, just quickly, childhood. I had a really, really disruptive childhood. My parents divorced, and I really struggled with school. Started struggling from like year one, very disruptive. I felt like the educational system in Australia just had, if you don't fall within these lines and you fall outside, it's very hard to get educated. I think that that's changed a lot.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think it changed, but it's something that I don't agree with, because I do believe, and don't get me, please correct me if I'm saying something wrong, some schools or in the previous school that I work at, there is like a special class for children with special needs, including ADHD. So when knowing that teachers now have some knowledge and know how to deal with children that require extra
Help.
or orientation or guidance, or help them. I just think like having a class special like just for that is segregates children.
Yeah, okay.
So makes the things different, and like I'm pretty sure you experience the same thing as me and as
Well, I don't think that we're going to figure out how we should change the educational system to be able to cater for that, but maybe each teacher needs to have more training on ADHD to be more inclusive within the classroom rather than putting them into a special needs class. Yeah, because that is segregation.
Exactly, because it's that people don't want to deal with the problem, so they just move the problem to somewhere else.
Yeah, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's okay. So, we're like, fuck, we can't fix that. But, so my childhood very disrupted. Got expelled from heaps of different schools. It continued to be disrupted all the way through to year 10. I didn't go to year 12. And finally got year 10 after, getting expelled from a bunch of different schools and all of that. And it was just down to not being interested in that type of thing. If there was something that I was interested in childhood, I was able to really, really kill it. And I would do amazing work, get top marks and all of that if I was engaged. And normally when I was a kid, that revolved around like working with my hands, doing woodwork or metal work or something like that. As for like theoretically writing stuff down and like it absorbing that way, just didn't work for me.
Yeah, and I think that's a very common symptom in people with ADHD, that if we are not interested in something, we just can't. We won't be able to focus. We won't be able to be attentive to retain information like that in our brains.
Yeah.
So,
well, how was your experience in childhood?
my childhood, I think, I can say I will say that I was a normal student. I did struggle sometimes I didn't, but then same as you, when I focus and when I was trying hard and when I put effort, I will like get the good marks and do it well. But obviously it's deficit of attention, big thing. Through my whole childhood to right now, one of the big symptoms is emotional dysregulation. And I remember since I was going to therapists with my mom, because she used to struggle with me and she used to struggle with the relation that I did have with her. So
let's just touch on that for a second. So just quickly, ADHD in Colombia, is it a thing at school? Is it a thing in the education system? Do they even mention it?
To be honest, I don't really think it's a thing in Colombia, actually.
So it's a modern world issue. But yeah, so they don't give you advice or your parents' advice. In that way. They just
tag you as a naughty kid. That's it. There is a place. If someone is listening to this and I'm wrong, just correct me. I'm not aware, or that's from my experience.
Yeah. If you're from Colombia and you're listening and you know for a fact that they do cater for it, and please let us know and we'll talk about it.
100%. So yes, in Colombia, just emotional dysregulation, having like emotional tantrums, all the time, very needy. All the time. And same. When I got to be a teenager, I think in school same. I got to year 10, almost was failing year 10. So I needed to put like an extra like work and try very hard to pass that year. So and same, because I was just losing attention. I just got distracted with different things, and I couldn't concentrate.
Yeah, me either. So, adulthood, a lot of the same things filtered through to adulthood for me. The only
just
go.
To clarify something, we got diagnosed in different stage. I got diagnosed this year. Actually, probably this month, I would say. So no longer ago, well, obviously I did have an idea, and I thought that I did have ADHD since I made sick, but just recently, and then the same goes for you.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed when I was 16, but didn't do anything about it. I just wasn't ready for medication and all that stuff at that age. I was just so oppositional in all aspects of life. And I just wasn't ready. But it took me, from 16 to 32 to be able to realise, maybe I need some assistance with this, which I did. And I'm so happy.
Yeah, and I'm also very glad you did, because it changed your life.
Oh, in a massive way. In a massive way.
So coming back to how you experience your ADHD in adulthood.
So I guess the only difference is with childhood and adulthood is you're an adult now, but you've had a consistent period of time, years, to be able to develop coping mechanisms to be able to deal with your ADHD. It doesn't mean that it's not still hard to concentrate and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't mean that you can't be a functioning person of society, because you can. It's just a little bit harder than your average person.
Yeah, you just struggle. I feel like a normal person will go with the 100% and function normally and just go through any normal thing, any normal stage in their life. I'm not saying that they don't struggle. Of course,
no, everybody struggles.
They struggle, but in a different way. So as for ADHD, it takes us a lot more effort to be able to cope or do things.
There's like this,
As society, as society have these
I
expectations.
explain it like there's a cloud in your head, and you've just got to make it through this cloud every morning or after every time you've just been distracted. So you'll get on task. You've just been through all the clouds. You hit the mountain peak. You're ready to apply yourself. You start applying yourself. You're making traction, and then all of a sudden, boop, you just get pulled out of that concentration piece, and then you've just got to start trekking up the mountain again. And listen, it's probably not that drastically different to your normal person. It might be a 10% difference, but every single time you're trying to concentrate, you've got to go through that 10% difference. So over the course of a day or an 8-hour workday, it's a lot.
Yeah, and it's funny because you see a lot of videos on TikTok, and it's like, for example, in my case or my ADHD, let's say I need to send an email, but then on the process to go sit in the computer and send an email, I get distracted with multiple things like, oh, the desk, it's not organized. I should move things. So I'm going to go move a glass of water to the kitchen. And then when I go to the kitchen, I see, oh, the dishes are not being done. So I need to fix the dishes. And then, oh, I need to dry them first. Oh, I need to clean the bench first.
Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare.
Just because I wanted to go and send a fucking email.
Yeah.
Which is really hard because you get distracted and you take all these like little side tracks.
Yeah.
I have to say.
For me, like if I used to have 100 emails in my inbox, it was just so hard to choose which one. It was like, but this one. And then I would like click on like 10 different emails and like not read any of them and just read like, it's like a paragraph blur and not know. And then I would just have to like, after being in there for a while, be like, just choose something for God's sakes. Like just not knowing where to start and then getting on task to be able to start was difficult.
Yeah, I just think if we get overwhelmed very easy. And that's obviously a problem because it's like, oh my God, 1,000 things to do. And I believe everyone with ADHD experiences is like, you wake up every morning and then the first thing you think is like, oh my God, all the things that I need to do. Not saying that a normal person doesn't think that, but it just takes us a lot of time to process and to be like, okay, one at a time. And this is something that I struggle with. Actually, I just don't know how to choose to do something at one at a time. Like, I just need to be multitasking. And when you multitask, unfortunately, you have the tendency not to finish things as quick.
Yeah, I agree.
So one of the common things with ADHD is not being able to concentrate, feeling overwhelmed by emotions.
Emotional regulation is a struggle, yeah.
Yeah.
Like for me, I quite easily get frustrated and I don't know what it is. Like it's not...
It's hard to explain sometimes. Yeah. Like for example, I don't get frustration, but I do get this like wave of so many emotions at the same time. And sometimes, like I tell you, sometimes you're like, oh, are you okay? How are you feeling? And I'm like, I just feel shit and I don't know why.
Yeah.
And I can't explain, like if I can't put into words what is the feeling, and it's probably so many things in your head at the same time that you can't like think clearly. Like you say, it's like a cloud and then you just have to like move that cloud away and try to see the light.
So I think I don't like... So you get this cloud, and then also there's this like, how do I explain it? Like an underlying busyness. Call it a noise or whatever it is. Voices speaking in my head.
But it's crazy, and people think this is a joke, but it's like it's like someone is constantly talking to you. No one. 1,000 of them talking
and it's not voices, but it's thoughts, but it's like an underlying hum that's consistent, and it's like it's not something that like, oh, okay, I can hear something. It's like it's something that you can't put your finger on, and it's happening the whole time, like a noise, like a really quiet underlying, not able to put my finger on it, just like
no, 100%. And this is probably why when I need to work or do something important, a task, I need to be doing multiple things at the same time because, or for example, if I'm working, I need to be listening to music because that music put a stop in the noise that I had in my head, and then I'm able to concentrate, which sounds funny because many people will be like, how can you concentrate?
That's distracting.
I'm distracted all the time. This actually is stopping me from getting distracted.
So I remember when I first started my sales career, and I was like, it was like probably the first time in my life that I was like actively in front of a computer trying to need to get like reports and all of that stuff done. And I used to have to put headphones in, and they didn't want you putting headphones in at fucking work. And I was like to my boss, I need to put them in so I can concentrate. Like I need it.
Yeah.
And so I ended up getting away with it, but I used to call it the danger zone.
The danger zone.
I'm going into the danger zone, as in like,
because you're gonna be able to be productive.
Just smash it,
like
100%. Realistic and loud music, and it can be anything, and not relaxing music like heavy metal or techno or drum and bass or rap or whatever. Just loud and just I'm on it.
Exactly. Like for example, this morning I woke up, you were still asleep, and I just put my headphones on and I was just blasting music and I was just literally writing positive quotes on my diary. And it's like, you listening to all this crazy music, but you're just doing something relaxing. I'm like, this is what it works for me.
It's weird. It's really weird.
Sure a lot of people can relate to this.
Yeah. So, okay. Adulthood.
Yeah.
I guess we covered that.
I just want to mention that the symptoms between a man and a woman are very different. And this is why women usually don't get diagnosed with ADHD, and it's a lower percentage of people or girls that get, or women that gets diagnosed with ADHD, because we don't have that, or a lot of us don't have that.
There's exceptions to the rules where
100%.
Women have the hyperactive and men don't have the hyperactive, and just the attention deficit disorder and all of that. There's thousands of variations, but like more often than not, men get the hyperactive. It's more easily identified, and women
get the emotional dysregulation, and this is why
and they shut down, and then nobody don't tell anybody, and then so nobody can fucking figure it out.
This is why usually often women get misdiagnosed with anxiety and depression, because it's the emotional dysregulation affecting us. And then once you start to get treated, like my psychiatrist was telling me, once you start to get treated with ADHD, you're gonna realize that depression or anxiety that you thought your whole life that you have, it's gone. It's just some symptoms that they came along with.
And it's not going to happen straight away as soon as you take medication, but eventually it just sort of dissipates.
I'm not saying that the medication is going to complete the cure,
or that you need to take medication at all. There's alternative. You don't need to take a stimulant to be able to treat ADHD. There's lots of herbs out there. There's non-stimulant medications. There's a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, and it's a lot of therapy as well. Like, come on, like you with 32 years old and you won your whole life, and obviously
and successful career and all of that.
Same as me, 27 years old, no medication my whole life. So
because you've got your coping mechanisms, but doing self-reflection and analysing yourself and your patterns and what you're doing is really important to be able to succeed in that. The other thing is, like, I use the gym as a regulation for me. I used to still go every single morning before work, and it was a way for me to wake up, go do a task, have a routine, have some consistency, and by the time I was finished the gym, my brain was awake. I've got good endorphins going, all of that, and then by the time it was start work, boom, I'm on. I'm ready to go. And I still had to make it through the clouds, but it made it much, much, much easier.
Yeah, and it's because you create this habit where the gym, or going to the gym, it can be many things. It can be reading, it can be going for a walk, it can be like going to swim, or it can be
exercise
whatever.
Is particularly good though.
Yeah, exercise particularly good, and this is actually recommended by psychiatrists.
Yeah.
So exercise, like for example, we go to the gym, and this help us to regulate and put a routine into our day. So we know by the end of the gym, or once we finish the gym and then we come back home, we know that
It's work time soon.
We program our brain to know that, okay, you have your time and you're ready to go to.
Super effective.
Yeah.
Super effective.
And we actually have been seeing the difference because the last few days we have not been going to the gym in the morning. And then we just struggled the whole day.
Oh, God. Because today, for instance.
Yeah, because we're out of routine.
Today, for instance, for me, was a tough day. A really tough day. And here we are recording podcasts and stuff and trying to be productive and fucking... You can get through it, but you can't sit within that feeling and just be like, ugh. Like, you got to actively want to get out of it and be like, what's going on? Why the fuck do I feel like this? Yeah. Not sit within it and be like, oh, it's okay tomorrow. No, it's not okay tomorrow. We've got things to do. I don't want to fucking feel like this. I want to feel better. I want to smash it today.
Yeah.
So like, but I think I'm only able to do that since I've reflected and thought about it and all of those things.
Yeah, it just takes time and it like I was telling you, it's okay to feel that way. Let yourself feel that emotion and let yourself feel that way.
But for a period of time.
Yeah, exactly. Just give yourself, okay, 3 hours, I'm going to be like, or the whole morning I'm going to be like this, I'm going to be resting. And then after midday, ready to go.
I'm on. Let's go. Yeah. That's it.
You are able to program your brain. So don't let your ADHD
rule your life. Yeah. Rule it. Like, run it.
Yeah, you own your life. You run your life. So, yep.
So we'll talk about in the relationship, and I think I just touched on this before, just at the start of this segment. But it's so important, to communicate these things with your partner, and your partner, if it's the love of your life,
will help you.
Should understand, regardless of whether they've got ADHD or not.
And we are a clear example of, because we struggle with different things, and our like toxic traits, let's say, are completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I still need to understand where he's coming from, and he still need to understand where I'm coming from. Yep. And then it's just an agreement, because
not that that's easy.
No,
that's fucking so hard.
So hard.
But what it does do in an argument or a disagreement, or in a moment where you feel misunderstood, if that person understands and you're the one having a breakdown potentially, but you may have done the wrong thing, they can be less hard on you because they understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So, and then it turns into, okay, I'm fucking annoyed. You've annoyed the fuck out of me, but I can see you're really struggling, and then you be less soft and supportive and help that your partner get through it. And then when they're through it, you can have that conversation about, hey, I know that you just went through this, and I basically supported you through it and stuff, but let's go back to the start of that.
Yeah.
Hey, I really didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes we don't see, and this is not just with people with ADHD, sometimes we don't see things that we're doing, and the other person is there, and it's okay to reflect, and it's okay to listen that your behavior or something that you're doing, it might be affecting the other person.
Correct. So, but normally in that moment, you don't
want to hear like, hey, you're doing something wrong.
You can't hear
something
that
I learned with the years is like, it's always a time to do or to talk about things. Like, don't put pressure, because if the person is not ready, it's not going to be ready.
Yeah. But also, like, what we're trying to do, hey, and fuck guys, we're not perfect.
No.
We're working through it. We're working on it, and
we're far from perfect, and we're here telling you like how it is important and in reflection. But come on, sometimes sometimes you don't know how to act. You don't know what to do.
In the moment, it's hard.
Obviously, it takes a lot of time, a lot of practice, and being patient. And then once again, be kind.
Be kind, yeah. Because it's not really good in the middle of one of those things to be like, we call it kitchen sinking. I got that from my mum, where the argument's about something, and then
you just throw
everything into it, and it's like, in that moment, that's just like fuel on a fire.
Honestly, just make things so much worse, and you don't want to do that. And hey, you are allowed to express your feelings and your thoughts always, but you always need to try to choose the correct time to do this.
But communicating with each other about your tendencies or whatever is so important, because it just lets your partner support you, because you do weird shit, and it's something you've been doing your whole life, and it's a it's a hyperactive episode, or it's I'm really sensitive towards this topic because I am.
Yeah.
And if your partner doesn't know that, you're more likely to have a blow up about that thing, because it's one of those things that regulates you, or one of those things that are harder to break the cycle of.
Yeah. So I just think it's very important, and regardless of, once again, if it's ADHD or not, it's important to let your partner know things that bothers you and things that you would like. And I'm not telling you that you should tell your partner to change and be a completely different person. No, but
it's just working on those things.
A relationship is a commitment, and you commit to someone to work, and you work together.
Well, hopefully you find somebody that
is willing to do that with you.
That is willing to do that with you. But what I was going to say is, hopefully you find somebody that is willing to change with the times with you.
Yeah.
Because everybody changes. We all change as individuals. We get more educated. We improve. Our habits change. Our interests change. All of those things change. And if you don't have somebody that is supporting you and willing to change with you, progressively change, then you're going to grow apart. So
because also you are not the person that you were 10 years ago.
No way.
Life is a process. Life is a constant change, and like tomorrow you're gonna learn something new, and tomorrow you're gonna change your behavior, because that's life. That's what is life about.
Yeah,
like you just learn about things that happen to you, and you reflect, and then you change. I'm not saying sometimes people change for good all the time. No, it might be for bad too.
Yeah,
but
I think if you can, like for us, okay, I just get entrenched in my projects and ideas and all of that thing, right? And before I was medicated for ADHD, that would be a million of them every second, and I'm like researching them and like just bombarding Leiry with all of these new ideas, and this is going to make us $1 million and all this type of shit. And then I drop it, and she's just getting her head around that idea, and then I'm on to the next one.
Yeah.
But find some things, some hobbies that you can do together, and work on them together. And I just feel like it's so helpful, like us with the podcast or social media or whatever. It has helped us. It's difficult, but it's so positive for us, because we both love it. We love different aspects of it.
Yeah, and it's a project, and we don't think the same, and we actually have a different part or role in this project together, and we just do whatever is best for us and whatever we're good at. Yeah. So we don't feel the pressure like, oh, I don't want to do this or
correct.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So.
And we're just it's awesome. Okay, so just quickly, I just want to touch on work life.
Yeah.
And how I'm going to revolve this around medicated versus non-medicated, and how it's changed your life.
I can't tell much yet about how it changed, because I have been medicated only for 2 weeks at the moment. And not that I don't see the difference, I do, but I just want to wait for a longer period to
okay, well, you can potentially comment on how you've seen my work life change. So basically, completely different.
Yeah.
Like I said, all of those things, making it up the mountain, through the clouds, every single time you get distracted, is not a thing anymore.
No, and I can see that you are so work driven at the moment that you just on it.
Yeah, it's honestly crazy. Straight away in the morning, straight on, and before it was a grind to get into the groove, and then once I was in the middle of the groove, then everything was going okay.
Yeah.
And blah blah blah. But what I felt like was, okay, so there's a baseline of where everybody starts, and and all your workload sits along that baseline, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's normality. Like if you complete everything that you need to do, you're just sitting there. you can go above that, which is going to make your career progress and you're going to fucking kill it, or you can dip below it. And you can't be above it all of the time. And if you are an exceptional human being, but you can't. You have moments where you go up and then you come back down to base level, and then you go, all right, overachieving and base level and overachieving. Or you go achieving, below, back to achieving. And then you've got to work on this mountain of work to get back here because you've just been letting things go. And I was doing this pattern, the below bit. I would go below, and then
I don't want to feel like that, and go up.
Once a week or once every 2 weeks, just have this mountain of work to have a panic attack, have anxiety, and have to just absolutely smash it and feel like you're overachieving, but you're only just coming back to base level.
Yeah, but it's because a big symptom of ADHD is like procrastination, and you just keep pushing things because you don't want to be dealing with that, and you're like, that can wait.
But with social media and all of that, you just jump on TikTok and you procrastinate for hours, and then so on and so forth. It was fucking tiring, and I just always had this urge of, I know I'm fucking better than this.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Why am I fucking doing? But I couldn't find the motivation, and I was just struggling.
Yeah.
Being medicated, and guys, you don't have to be medicated, but you might be able to find an alternative to be able to get this pattern. And now I feel like I'm always on baseline, and when I'm overachieving, it's up, and I'm fucking smashing it, and then I do that for a week or two, and then I drop back and I'm down to just baseline where everything's sort of handled and I'm not sort of going above and beyond, and then I'll just go boom and I'll have another surge.
Yeah.
And the difference for me is I'm in sales, so that means that, you know, my pipeline's being developed, I'm having all of these cool conversations, and then I'm getting these wins. So which adds to the high, because then I am overachieving. So it's not like,
it's a game changer.
Oh, it's crazy. But then,
and I do see it, that you're motivated and you just want to, not that you didn't want to be more successful before, but it's just like, okay, it's like, because before, I don't know if you relate, but before it's like, I want to be successful, but you're not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I want to be successful, so what will I do to?
But also like the super efforts that I was having to make it back to base level, they're the moments that you need to be going above.
Yeah.
And so when you're doing it just to get back to base level, there's no reward.
Yeah, and I just...
Do you get it? Like, do you get what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's no reward feeling, because it's like, I'm just back to here, and then I've got to do it again, but I've just been trying so hard, and I've just gotten to base level. Whereas
to be in the normal expectations of society, like my psychiatrist was telling me, so society have these expectations of how a normal person should be, and then the medication is just that help for
to be
us
there
with ADHD, to be there and just function normally like everyone else without putting that much effort, and they just go out from there. And obviously I know that this is not just a medication solution. I know it requires a lot of you
still have to fucking try hard. Like, it's not all of a sudden you download it and then you're better. No, you still have your bad days.
100%. It's just like, it's just make you feel fit into society.
And so instead of working really hard and going above and beyond and coming back to baseline, now I'm working really hard and I'm going above baseline, and then I get the reward from that as well, the dopamine and all of that hits, and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm killing it. So, and then let's just put it to personal projects. Before, I just used to have all these hundreds of ideas, and I'd be like self-educating, but there was no action. And now I feel like it's totally different. It's like, it's applied.
I feel like now you get hyper focus in this and this new subject or this new trick or this new project or whatever it is, but then you get so excited, you learn about it, and then you apply it to your life.
100%. And I never used to do that.
No,
I used to just drop it after a bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like you do that too now.
Do I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, this is an example.
Oh, guys, it took me a lot of time to decide to do this podcast because I am a shy person and this is part of my ADHD. So I don't really engage in conversations, or I don't really like to talk because I struggle articulating my thoughts and emotions, so express or verbalize things to others. So obviously this is a big thing for me.
Big awakening, natural interest and wanting to research it and write stuff down and fucking game changer, guys. Anyway, let's wrap that section up. So like we said though, if you like that topic and you want a more in-depth understanding from our perspective, please leave a comment on our YouTube, or give us a DM or comment on one of our TikToks.
And another thing, if you do relate to all these things that we have been mentioning and you think you have ADHD, I will suggest to go search for help to get diagnosed. Not to get medicated, by the way, like it's up to you if you get medicated or not, but at least to give you some clarity.
I totally agree.
Once you know that you have ADHD, you can do your own research and look for things that work for you. And if you don't have ADHD, at least we'll give you clarity. Okay, it's not this, but then what it is, it will open a path to search. Because remember, I think taking care of your mental health, it must be your top priority.
100%. And there's all these alternative clinics that help treating ADHD without medication. So there's loads of stuff out there.
100%.
So leave a comment if you like this. We'll keep doing topics like this as well. So let's move on to dropping gems, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, this is the section where we just give you a little life hack. So
that will change your life.
Will change your life.
Or at least will.
So drum roll. Let's see if I can get the drum roll.
Come on, guys. We're just here learning how to use our new equipment. Making progress. So just
dropping gems, guys. Go, baby.
So the gem for me, from me to you guys, is I do have these spots on my face that are chameleons, and they're just genetic. I don't know where they come from, and they just don't go away. So I bought a cream the other day that is with salicylic acid.
Salicylic acid, yeah.
Salicylic acid.
Get it in the chemist, over the counter, fine.
Yeah, like you can find it in many places. I'm pretty sure you can like get it from like Amazon even.
Yeah.
You just put it on your eyes or whatever the area that you get it often, and I think it's a game changer because they slowly getting.
Oh, they fucking drastically changed.
Yeah, going down.
Like, it was fine before, but fucking drastically changed.
Yeah, because with the millions, the problem is, what it makes me uncomfortable is like when I wear makeup, they just like, you can see like the texture on makeup. So if you're a girl, woman, or you identify as a woman, you understand where I'm coming from, and it's not nice to have that texture on your skin, on your face. So I think that's very helpful. So I'm pretty sure you're gonna like it.
And mine, gentlemen.
This is a big one, guys.
Yeah. So hair loss. I have never had beard on the side of my face. Never, ever. I've just had it in the front. The joke used to be
skin boy.
Yeah, the joke used to be man in the front, prepubescent on the sides, and what's it called? Minoxidil, 5%. You can get it in an oil. You can get it in a foam. Whack it on there. And I tell you what, I'm growing a beard. I'm growing a full-blown man beard. Let's fucking go. I'm ready to have that chiseled jaw look. Also, if you're thinning on the sides in your hair, it'll help. Also, derma roller. Derma roller, minoxidil 5%. It'll change your fucking life. We'll have full head of hair and a full beard before you know it.
Yeah. So you will stop being a baldy boy.
Baldy boy. Okay, guys, thank you so much. That's going to wrap us up. So remember, like, comment, share, subscribe.
And if you learned something, or if something that we say during this episode, it means something for you, the only thing that we ask for is to like this video and share it with someone that might need it.
That'd be great. We'd love it. And also, any comments, if you've got a question, comment on the video and we will do a Q&A and answer them in the next episode. We promise you that. It needs to be appropriate though.
Yeah.
So if, or you can go listen to it on Spotify, Apple Music, all of that type of thing as well. Go follow our TikTok and Instagram. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. That's all.
That is it. Thank you so much, guys.
Roll the pictures.
Let's go. Oh. Little picture time. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you next week.
See ya. We love you.
Little dance moves, babe. Ooh. Comment, like, subscribe, share. Let's go. There you guys.